20,000 bargaining unit. I mean, that's with all employees, not just teachers.
Right.
We have about 15,000 teachers, and 9,000, almost 10,000 of them are union members. Strengthen our union and educating, the educators to know what their rights are, and pushing back in a diplomatic manner and strengthening our political position also here in Broward. We have a very powerful political position here in Broward for Florida. And we just have to get our educators more educated in understanding to get out and vote and how to properly vote. That's the point. The legislator is taking complete advantage of us.
And really to start talking to people and getting them on the same page. Because, I've been saying for a long time, Anna, that hopefully when the more articulate union members step to the forefront and begin to lead the messaging charge, that maybe we can turn things around.
And that's exactly where we are. We're going to have to start right now with our new leadership. We're not weak. We're just not as well-versed in the education process of understanding the importance of the power of our vote can be.
Right. Now, how did you get started into this? Well, what made you jump in the middle of all this?
Made me jump in the middle of it when I started seeing our education downfall with the scheme of the vouchers and the No Child Left Behind Act, Race to the Top, trying to get, educators sold on, if you can just get these kids to pass these test scores, that's how you're going to make more money in your pocket as an educator. And then wanting to cut out our deserved raises, and they feel we're just paid for performance. So we're just basically a number, a statistic, as our students are basically a number and a statistic. And I said, that's not what we got into this field for.
Right.
To, have ourselves mistreated and entail, which is, it's just putting a poor conditions on our students where we're just they're feeding into it. The parents are feeding into it that this test is the almighty answer to everything. And I just want to bring out that we have rights and show people where we can learn about our rights and pass and get on to one person, to the next person, and eventually, a few to many to a mass. And then the word gets out there and we can bring great change.
Yeah, the hope is that our kids are more than just a test score of something where they were, I don't know about how it is in Florida, but here in Pennsylvania where they do like 13 days of testing, and it's really just all encompassing and I would imagine not very interesting and really hard to keep focused. And also you don't get the results for months and months. I would think that as a student would not be something that I would have done well in, and I can't imagine that many students do.
They don't. And our elite legislators don't get it. They feel sitting in a cold room for hours at a time, not being able to interact with anybody throughout the test, even when you're done with the test, but because you have to fulfill the allotted time, whether the students are actually done or not, they have to complete the time that's allotted for it to have accuracy and to make sure that the test is not nulled, that it puts a stress, a burden on the student, a frustration. And then they get into the mode of like, well, I just don't care, let me just get through it. And that doesn't measure a student's growth when they're in the mode of, let me just get through it.
Yeah, and it's interesting you point out, because I've actually heard the term Christmas treeing the test, where kids just draw pictures.
Christmas treeing or 1, 2, 3 guessing, just, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. I mean, they have all different types of methods on how they answer the test when they don't care.
Now, when you meet some of these legislators in Florida, because here in Pennsylvania you've got the two camps. You've got the people who are in favor of public education and see the value of funding education at a proper level, and then you've got the other side who say everything should be in the hands of the profiteers and the privateers because that's the only way people actually learn. I guess you have the same dynamic in Florida, right?
Same exact dynamic here in Florida. And exactly. I think it's across the United States, to be honest with you.
You're absolutely right, but it comes back down to when I talk to the people who are all in favor of the privatized system, it seems like there's somebody that they're in their pocket. I look at the other side and you go, public education is part of the commons. It's part of the public good. It's something that we as society decide that we want to make sure our kids get the best opportunities possible. But I look at the other side, and I don't mean to be demonizing or looking down on them, but it seems that there's a money interest there that I'm just uncomfortable with.
And I've been in this education business since 1993 as actually being a teacher, and I've seen the dynamics change. And when it started getting to more of the voucher scheme, teaching to the test, grading schools on how well the kids do on tests, earning your salaries, earning better salaries on how the test results are, you can only believe that the bottom line is the almighty dollar. So I tend to agree with you.
Yeah. Because look, I want my kids to pass tests. I want them to do well. But I want them to be the right kind of tests, because I believe there's a difference. I'm not anti-testing, and I tell my kids this every year when we opt them out. I'm not against testing. I'm just against these kind of tests that label you as either a pass or a failure. I want tests that are diagnostic, that are going to help you go, okay, what didn't I know, and how do I figure that out?
And that's how it used to be. And as educators, we're the same way. We're not anti-test. We're anti on what the testing scheme has become. It is not about the growth in the student. Even though they try to tie it to that and they want to, put it out there to the public and to the parents, it's to really see how little Johnny or little Susie has done, when the bottom line is it's all about the mighty buck. The test makers making the tests, the test preps that are coming with it, the computer test preps. I mean, there's a wide variety of everything that goes around it that builds towards this one particular standardized state test that all is a profit.
And that's not what I think it should be about. So as the incoming union president, how do you plan on mobilizing your members to push back and change that?
Well, one of the main ways that I can do that is that I have to, teach them and bring in which I have, a strong team, a great force of political knowledge, and figuring out the right people that we want to get voted in, and getting the message out there to get not only just our members, but the community to vote. They have to get out there and vote. I mean, we've had some primaries in the past few elections where only 12% of our actual teachers went out and voted. So that right there tells you that they just weren't getting out there and using their voice. We have to stop them in the legislative positions. If we keep voting in the wrong people or ignoring and not voting at all, it's never going to change, because we can't push back if it's law without getting in there to try and change it.
It comes back to politics, doesn't it?
Well, it's the bottom line right there. I mean, we've had, with our new governor coming in, that, Senate Bill 736, that was very harmful to new teachers. They've lost their tenure. They don't get to ever become continuing contract. They're always going to be annual contract. Their salaries are only going to be based on pay for performance. There's no, just to earn a raise for being an educator. We're always increasing our education. We are following unnecessary mandates. We go above and beyond. And to say that the only way you can show that you're a great educator, a great teacher, is if the students pass this test that our legislator feels is the end-all, be-all test.
Not a good scenario at all. And the sad reality is there are poor communities that I think are going to suffer because of that. Because who wants to put themselves in the middle of that? Who wants to put their livelihood on the line in a place where the odds are really stacked against you from the beginning, aren't they?
I mean, why would you want to spend your hard-earned money to go through college to earn a college degree, to get into a profession that you feel is at one time was extremely highly respected, and there was a a silver lining at the end of your 30, 35-year career to find out that now there is no silver lining. You have to push and stress upon it. These students have to pass this test that really shows, no value to it to have a decent paycheck. And I'm not saying becoming a teacher, being a teacher is all about the pay, because it's not. It's not a high-paying career.
Right.
But there was at least some type of security, for when you grew in your years. After working 35 years, you don't want to be maybe stuck at the same salary you started 35 years before because the kids didn't perform on the test.
There's something wrong with that. So last question I've got for you, Anna. What do we as parents do? What advice are you giving to parents in your backyard? What are you telling folks?
Don't be afraid to listen to, your neighbor that's the teacher. It might not actually be your child's teacher, because we're not going to have that conversation with the parents of the students that we teach. But we may be having that conversation outside of our schools in everyday communications with friends and family, parties, get-togethers, talking about how harmful these tests are and how important it is to vote for, public education-friendly people to get into our system and get out there and vote and let them know that this type of testing is not what is good for their child.
There you go. Anna, I appreciate you taking a little time for us. Keep up the great work, and I wish you nothing but the best down there.
Hey, I appreciate you giving me some time, and I'm so glad you're on this mission. And little by little, Pennsylvania, Florida, across the states, we keep connecting, and eventually this type of testing is going to be fleshed out.
That's the hope. As I always say, you want to change the world, start with your backyard.
That's right.
Anna, thanks so much. Great talking with you. Anna Fusco, the new incoming president there of the Broward's Teacher Union. Quick break, right back.